Coming up on this edition of Quincy in Focus.
And I can't think of a better title than being called a Quincy police officer.
The city of Quincy welcomes 7 new police officers to the force.
And then connect them to a service world and a support team to make sure that they stay safe.
A grant is awarded to the Quincy Police Department's new Domestic Violence Awareness Initiative.
Differences are to be respected, in fact celebrated, because they are who you are.
And the city of Quincy honors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. These stories and more coming up on Quincy in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Quincy in Focus, Quincy Access TV's news magazine show. My name is Brendan McDonald and I'm a student at Endicott College interning at QATV. On this edition of Quincy in Focus, we will see what Mayor Thomas P. Koch has to say at the Quincy State of the City address. We will also visit an interview with the Quincy Graves Registration Officer, George Bouchard, and how he refurbished 70 veterans memorial markers dedicated to fallen vets. Leading off this edition, a new city council president was recently sworn into office. Ward 2 Councilor Brad Kroll was elected as Quincy City Council president and had a lot to say about his plans for Quincy in the upcoming years.
Raise your right hand. I, Nicole Crispo,
I, Brad Kroll,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and I will support the Constitution thereof.
and I will support the Constitution thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Nicole Crispo,
I, Brad Kroll,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as the President of the Quincy City Council,
as the President of the Quincy City Council,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my ability
and understanding,
and understanding,
agreeably,
agreeably,
to the rules and regulations of the Constitution
to the rules and regulations of the Constitution
and the laws of the Commonwealth
and the laws of the Commonwealth
and the ordinances of the City of Quincy.
and the ordinances of the City of Quincy.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Nicole Crispo,
I, Brad Kroll,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. It's really interesting how challenging it can be to recite what's being said to you when it's being said right in front of you. But really am grateful to have the opportunity, and want to thank my parents and my wife, because the support structure is always there, and that's important. I do not have any new committees I will be introducing or new shiny bells and whistles to offer for this upcoming term. My agenda for the next 2 years is quite simple. Let's get back to basics. Back to basics in terms of reactivating some of the subcommittees that already exist within the City Council. Back to basics in terms of creating an environment within these committees where topics affecting our city are given an opportunity to be discussed with the public while working towards a positive outcome together. And I do believe that the voters have assembled a team of colleagues to do just that, and I would invite my members of the City Council to stand and be recognized, please, if you could. Stand up. To the general public, rest assured that the City Council door is always open. To my colleagues, I would like to thank you for your trust and confidence in me as we go forward during this interesting time in our city's history. I can promise you that I will put in the work necessary to help facilitate meaningful change. I'd also like to commend each and every one of you for stepping up to lead in such a challenging environment. It's always easier to complain and lead with negativity than it is to step up and make tough decisions. I'm proud to be your advocate, and I'd like to let you know that I'm here to help in any way that I can. In closing, let us finish where we began. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin. May God bless you, your families, the city of Quincy, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Mayor Thomas Koch recently gave his annual State of the City address. The mayor spoke about the current work being conducted throughout the city and his future plans.
Tonight, I'd like to spend a few minutes on each of the following. Number one, the city's finances and economic development. Number two, our infrastructure. 3, our history and the 400th anniversary of our settlement in 2025. And 4, the addiction crisis. And I'll wrap up with a request to our legislators to honor a group of modern-day patriots from our community. We're holding a line compared to other cities and towns, but at the same time, we're making an extraordinary commitment to our public assets. Those are your assets. That's where our tax money is going. We're building our 3rd new school. We're repairing our firehouses, preserving our historic buildings, restoring parks and building new ones. We're implementing flood control projects, repairing tide gates, building new pump stations, rebuilding seawalls, literally replacing miles upon miles of water, sewer, and drain lines, and we're rebuilding our roads and sidewalks. In just the last several years, more than $250 million of private investment has flowed into development into our downtown. Exactly where development belongs, and we are just getting started. This year, we'll complete the largest phase of the Hancock Adams Green, a vision for activating the downtown that spans many years and once financed without a dime from our homeowners. This world-class park will be the first major civic space in our downtown and really a powerful reflective monument to honor Hancock and Adams and the legacy they built for Quincy, this Commonwealth, and this nation. With the City Council support, engineering firms are now working to implement our transportation master plan. And I know this is one that's a bug for a lot of folks. I remember the Lieutenant Governor saying at a recent symposium on development that there's no traffic in Detroit. With success comes traffic. But we're going to do a better job managing it. So we're going to implement the new transportation master plan. The first phase will include state-of-the-art management systems installed at more than a dozen of the busiest intersections, and the reconstruction of additional intersections. Our work will not be just about accommodating cars. That's why, as part of our plan this spring, we'll pilot the city's first ever bicycle sharing program and add additional bicycle lanes in targeted areas around the city. While we face many challenges as a community, perhaps the most challenging issue of our time is the addiction crisis. Who in this room has not been touched by this issue? I also want to publicly thank Mr. Peter Thompson, who's contributed tens of thousands of dollars out of his own pockets to our schools for needed prevention programs. Peter lost a child to addiction. We're incredibly grateful for his efforts so that someday, hopefully in the not too distant future, no parent will have to go through the same unimaginable pain. We thank you, Peter Thompson. In addition, just this past week, I had the distinct pleasure of meeting with the Massachusetts Nation and Ponkapog Band Tribal Council, members of the tribe that lived and worked on these lands. As part of the Quincy 400 effort, we will be telling our city's entire history, and I'm looking forward to us sharing the story of the Massachusetts Nation, Ponkapog Band, and the role they played in our heritage. We have been a city that has responded to our nation's call generation after generation. You need look no further than our cemeteries, the memorials throughout the city, and the memorial squares in so many of our neighborhoods. Now I'll be asking our legislators to file a bill to name the bridge the General's Bridge to honor 4 modern-day patriots in Quincy. I'm going to form a commission to design for construction a monument in this area to those who have served in the ongoing war on terrorism. And with it, honor and remember in a special way Army Lieutenant Charles Todd Caldwell and Army Specialist Kiara Durkin, who both died in service to our country during this time.
Dove and Quincy held a press conference to address sexual assault and domestic violence. Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, Undersecretary Jennifer Quealy, Mayor Thomas Koch, and District Attorney Michael Morrissey all spoke about their views and thoughts at this event.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Quealy, and I am the Undersecretary for Law Enforcement at the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. Thank you all for joining us here today as we take another step to reinforce our state's commitment to combating the terrible problem of violence against women.
I want to give the Quincy Police Department a lot of credit, along with your counterparts in Foxborough and Greenfield and in Woburn. Because these 4 police departments, and Quincy taking the lead because we made the announcement here about a year ago, took on something very special. They said, we're going to develop a response and assessment tool for municipal police officers to use when they get a call to respond to a domestic violence act. And when they come to that victim, they're able to ask the victim a series of questions, a uniform set of questions, and then obtain the information from that individual that can be used in the courts to hold the perpetrator accountable and also be used to help that victim get to the services that he or she needs to find a safe place to live, to find the support that he or she needs to be safe and well, and then connect them to a service world and a support team to make sure that they stay safe. This department here in Quincy is near complete in their perfecting this assessment tool, and as part of the council's work, we're going to take this tool and use the Municipal Police Training Council to then embed this through municipal police departments across this Commonwealth. That is another way that we are going to strengthen that safety net and give victims more encouragement to come forward and break out of their cycle of violence to get to a place of safety.
Certainly a pleasure for me to be here representing the city of Quincy, and to again welcome the Lieutenant Governor back to our city. She has been here quite frequently, and I'm so pleased and grateful for all of the great work Governor Baker and the Lieutenant Governor do across the entire Commonwealth, but truly they are partners in government. I've been in government 30 years, and I've never seen the strength between municipalities and state government as it is today, and that's due to the leadership of the governor and you, so thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for all of your work. In addition, I'd like to thank all the players in the room. There were a number of folks that worked very hard on this grant program, and it doesn't just happen, so we're grateful for that. You know, Judge Colvin, District Attorney Morrissey, our police departments work in collaboration every day with Sue Chandler and the staff and volunteers at Dove. You know, I know we talk a lot in government, or what gets in the paper is a lot about infrastructure and economic development, but more important is what we do about the homeless kids in our schools and what we do about the homeless in the streets and the opiate issue and those folks that are affected by domestic violence. That's the important stuff, and government needs to be involved in that.
When we look at the cases, Jimmy always used to say the sexual assaults, domestic violence, family violence cases, they are the most difficult, complicated, dangerous cases that we get to handle in the district attorney's office. And what Judge Colvin would probably tell you, and the police would tell you, dangerous, difficult cases for them to handle, because you're dealing with victims often under extreme pressures and dealing with human nature, and they're all very difficult cases, and trying to fashion an outcome that works and get people services is a challenge every day. And even in a county like Norfolk, I'm reminded that we prosecute over 1,000 domestic violence cases every year in Norfolk County. The Special Victims Unit handles 400 cases each year involving sexual assault, crimes against children, elders and persons with disabilities, and I see another one of our partners here, Nancy Altieri from the Disabled Persons Protection Commission. Sorry to say you moved out of Quincy, went to Braintree, but it's still Norfolk County. But we do a ton of work with many of our community partners like Dove, and they really make our job much easier as well.
The 22nd annual Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast took place at Quincy High School, where people from all over Quincy came to celebrate and commemorate Dr. King. Senator John Keenan spoke a few words to the children about Quincy and how it has changed since he was a high school student.
And for the young children out there today, you're going to face some of the things that I, the mayor, and others, my sister who's here, and my wife, others who grew up in the city faced. It's called peer pressure. Back when we were growing up, when we were in high school, it was, what are you doing hanging out with them? They're nerds. They're geeks. They're losers. We heard those things. You're going to hear those things as you grow up. They're going to be different in what they convey. It's not going to be the nerds or geeks or losers. You'll hear that. And you won't hear it from everybody, thankfully, but you will hear it from some. You're going to hear, why are you hanging out with them? They're black. They're white. They're Chinese. They're Muslim. Why are you hanging out with them? Resist that peer pressure. Do not give in to that peer pressure. Remember, you're growing up with different people. You're here today with people that look so different than what you do. They drink different drinks. They eat different foods. They dress differently. They pray to different gods. They have different customs at home. But just remember, what they are your friends. And that what you are a bunch of kids growing up in the city of Quincy. Differences are to be respected, in fact, celebrated, because they are who you are. But remember, you're just a bunch of kids. But he dreamed that black boys and black girls could join hands with white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. And look at us here today. Not just black, not just white, but every color, creed, race joining hands together. There is no fear. There is no hatred. You're doing what Dr. King dreamed. Again, don't let anybody ever tell you that it can't be done. Don't let anybody ever tell us that it shouldn't be done. You know what we can give Dr. King today for his birthday? How about a promise? How about we promise that every day we will make Quincy, in wherever we may be, one of Dr. King's beloved communities. A community in which everyone, every day, will choose peace and love over fear and hatred. Let's give that to Dr. King. Happy birthday, Dr. King.
QATV intern and current Curry College senior Vanessa Rizzitano interviewed the Quincy Graves registration officer, George Bouchard, who recently went around Quincy and refurbished 70 veterans memorial markers that are dedicated to fallen veterans. He had repainted the old markers and made them look brand new to post around the streets of Quincy.
Can you tell me what exactly you do with the memorial signs?
Well, we've been taking them down with the, with the help of some volunteers. I'd like to mention Jerry Mullen and Linda Purchard, Dave Powers, and Dietrich Collins and Steve Kubik for helping me out with all of this. We take the signs down and paint them, and after they've been pretty neglected throughout the years. Been doing this for about a year now. When I first took over the job, I was notified by a few of the volunteers that some of the signs were missing or damaged, or just cars hitting them and whatnot, and not in the, the poles weren't there. So we did some research on it and read the files, see where they were supposed to be, and we replaced all of them. And now we're going to start fixing them up and painting them.
Is everyone assigned different roles, such as painting the signs, putting them up, taking them down, or does everyone work on them together?
Well, basically, no, we are assigned, the sign and traffic department's been helping me quite a bit. They started this project when they painted one of them over in West Quincy, and I really liked it. And I asked them how they did it, and they explained to me how they painted them, and they can take them down, obviously, with the tools. And so I started painting most of them, but the traffic and sign department has done quite a bit of them. Dietrich Collins and Steve Kubik been a great help, and they've been doing some. So they do half of them, and I do half of them here, because it is quite a bit of them. There's 79 signs between World War I and World War II, which are the older signs, these ones here, which are the older signs that need to be fixed. The Vietnam, Persian Gulf, and Korea are all aluminum ones, they're newer ones, so they're all set. It's basically these ones here that we have to refurnish. There's 118 poles throughout the city of Quincy, but there's only 79 that are in this condition. So these are the ones, we're gonna focus on right now. The flags are done by a young gentleman called Jerry Mullen and his friend Dave Powers. They put them out around the end of April, brand new flags to each and every pole. We take them down again in August and then replace them with new ones, so they're always fresh. and then in November they take them down for the season.
Putting up signs in honor of the veterans who have died is certainly a kind gesture, so why do you believe you benefit most from this work?
The families, absolutely, the families. We've had families come in here and ask, there was one in particular that came in and said, my brother's sign is missing, where is it? So we replaced that sign, not having any knowledge it was gone. The families remember their soldiers, and they remember their families. So that's big too. And I know when they go by the streets and look, if it's neglected or knocked down or not there, it's just not right. So that's why I do what I do. This is all going to be taken care of. This should all be done by Memorial Day. Hopefully during the winter months we can get a lot of them painted, restored, and back up on the pole. So come the sunny days of May and June, these family members can look up in honor of their fallen soldiers. I would like to thank, let's start with Steve Kubik for the Traffic and Sign Department, because the first sign he did, I really enjoyed it. I thought it looked beautiful, and that's what inspired me to do the rest of them. Between him and his employee, Dietrich Collins, they've been a lot of help, and with Linda Pritchard, Jerry Mullen, with their insight on where these poles should have been and what was missing. Without their help, this would have never taken place. So I want to thank them personally for all of this. And as we paint each and every one of these, we read the folders of these veterans and where they lived, what they did, where they went, and how they died. It's an inspiration that if you read these folders of what these gentlemen went through, was really sad. And so it's an honor to do each and every one of these, because there's a story behind every pole and sign in Quincy. There's a huge story behind it, and you know, they're part of history in Quincy, and they should be recognized for that.
7 new police officers were recently sworn in at Quincy City Hall. Mayor Thomas Koch and Chief Paul Keenan spoke at the ceremony and wished them luck as they entered the academy for 26 weeks of training.
I want to offer my personal congratulations to each of you for today, and also congratulate your families, because I know it's a very proud day for your families and your loved ones. But it's also a great day for the city of Quincy. We have an outstanding police department. There's a number of veteran officers in the room who put on the line every day in the city. And I often speak when I am promoting or appointing new officers about how safe our city is, and that's not by accident. We have an outstanding department that is ahead of the curve, roots out issues before they become major issues. And so people in the city are safer in their person in their home, largely due to the leadership of Chief Keenan and the members of our department. So you're joining one of the best, if not the best, in the Commonwealth for sure. On the other side of the coin is policing has changed. It's not the old days of just locking up the bad guy, although we do some of that. You're going to meet people at very difficult times in their lives when they need help. Not just a case of putting the cuffs on, but helping them, assisting them, directing them to the services they may need. We have a lot of challenges in society today with mental illness and opiates and so many other issues, domestic violence. And the police department, members of the department, you're there for the first call on many of those incidents. So, you know, we trust you will treat them with dignity and respect and the best way you can. Obviously, going into your training phase, the academy. How many weeks, Chief?
26.
26 weeks of training. So the city is heavily investing in each of you. We have great confidence in each of you to carry on the great tradition here, those that wear the badge here in Quincy.
Quincy Police is probably the premier job in law enforcement in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We're very well paid, we have very good benefits, but are also very well respected by our peers in our community. You'll find that you do have the support of your community. It's a challenging job, and you're going to be very well trained over the next 26 weeks. It's going to be a difficult 26 weeks for you, but at the end of the day, you're going to be Quincy police officers. And I can't think of a better title than being called a Quincy police officer. So stick together for the next 26 weeks, work hard, come out as a group, go in as a group, come out as a group, and then we'll train you with the Quincy Police Department. We'll do field training, and you'll be very well trained and very well prepared for what I consider probably the best job in law enforcement. So congratulations to all the new recruits and their families, and I wish you the best of luck.
I say your name.
I, Nicholas Carlson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Congratulations.
The Quincy Lodge of Elks sponsored the annual Elks Hoop Shoot competition at Atlantic Middle School in Quincy. Children from all over the city came to participate in this event and had fun competing against fellow contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Barry Welch. I'm the Director of Recreation for the City of Quincy. It's my pleasure to welcome you here to the Elks National Free Throw Hoop Shoot Contest. We're very blessed in Quincy to have the Quincy Lodge of Elks 943. They have sponsored this tournament for over 35 years. It's one of the longest running events in the Elks Hoop Shoot Contest, and we are very, very fortunate to have the Quincy Lodge of Elks put us into this program.
That's all for this edition of Quincy in Focus. If you'd like more information about Quincy Access Television or are interested in becoming a member, visit our website at qatv.org or call 617-376-1440. My name is Brendan McDonald, and thanks for watching this edition of Quincy in Focus.